This is Ready Set Reiki, a podcast about Reiki, the universal energy life force, from the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, welcoming all systems, all lineages, and all levels. Reiki is a journey and not a destination, and on this Ready Set Reiki journey, we refer to ourselves as guides, as we too are traveling, learning from each other, and supporting each other as well. And with that said, I am your guide, Tracy C. Wright. And joining me on this journey today is Ronald B. Wayman. Now, Ronald has devoted the three past decades to passionately coaching individuals to empower their inner storyline to become their best selves. As an empowered life brain integration specialist, a licensed massage therapist, an empowered life kinesiologist and emotional coach, neuroenergetic kinesiologist, and food enzyme consultant, Ron underscores the significance of empowerment and congruency within the heart, mind, body, and soul. He wrote a brain integration and mindfulness self help book called Life Centering. He enjoys teaching life centering techniques to family, friends, and clients. He is the founder of the Sensory Dynamic Center and co founder of Empowered Life Kinesiology, a body and mind energy school. He helped create a spice blend, herbal blends, and essential oil blends for health and brain body integration. Ronald Wayman and Denise Wayman Scholes are co founders of Mindbody Dictionary, which helps bridge the gap of understanding and powerful connection between the mind and the body. Ron's extensive work integrates implying breakthroughs in the body energy systems, integrated body movements, brain neuroscience, nutrition, sensory integration, focused emotional processing, and motivational heart mind empowerment. Constantly exploring new techniques rooted in traditional Eastern healing methodologies, he empowers practitioners to experience and facilitate remarkable physical, emotional, and energetic alchemy. He wants people to find the truth within their body, heart, and mind, which brings one back to their authentic soul. Ron and his wife, Janette, are proud parents of 6 children and grandparents of 18. Welcome, Ron, to Ready, Set, Reiki.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here. Yeah, with all that, I don't know what else I can say. That's a lot. That's quite a mouthful.
That was quite a mouthful, right?
Yeah, you're great.
well,
Thank.
well, with that said, tell me about yourself.
Okay, I'll do that. Actually, when you read that, I was just listening. Did you add in the Mind-Body Dictionary in one of the books that you mentioned?
I
You
believe I
said you probably did. I was hearing so much, and so because that's how we got onto this show because we just released Mind Body Dictionary, and I'm very proud of my niece, Denise Wayman Scholes, who helped me work through it and get it done. And I'm really excited. So, a little bit about myself. I've been in this work over 3 decades and having lots of fun and, of course, lots of learning. And my parents were already into health, and they were have uncles that were chiropractors. My father started on that path and went another one. But I took another path for a while, and I ended up becoming an energy kinesiologist. And because I wanted to go down a little different path with emotions and meridians and energy work, and I went and did my work with Reiki for a short time, and then with other techniques. I don't know how many classes I used to take and books I've read. I was counting up all the books that I've read over the years, and I kept finding more books and more books and more books. So, um, but I found that I started this work partially because of what happened to myself and my wife. Several years ago, she had issues with a pregnancy that caused skin rashes that they couldn't resolve. And it took us several doctors to figure out, and they eventually gave her prednisone while she was pregnant. And then later, when I did this work, I started to figure out actually what happened, putting two and two together in my research, because three of the pregnancies, she had a very severe boils on her, it was boils on her body. And also, I had health problems throughout my life, injuries and other issues that caused a lot of pain. So I had quite a bit of pain. And so this work came about in my seeking, partially because of that, due to pain and health reasons. And ultimately, though, a man walked into my life in a business I had several years ago, and he started to talk in ways that very much interested me about the mind, about spirituality. And I started to take interest in what he had to say. Um, and I started to think differently. And, and so most of my work is centered around helping people transform their thinking and their sensing and feeling into a unified form in the body. So whether I'm working on meridians or whether I'm doing chakras or whether I'm helping them with their nutrition, because I've studied nutrition extensively too, it all comes back to a oneness of the mind, the heart, and the body. And so when I'm doing classes or seeing people privately, they really want to get it. They really want to understand why they're stuck. Because no matter what, you could have the most perfect product for them or the perfect energy for them. But if they're still stuck in their belief system and they can't really get it, or they're stuck in their grief in their heart, or their body has memories in their cells that are stuck, it's going to really take them a long time. So I spend a lot of time massaging it energetically, mentally, and emotionally. So anyway, there you go.
So, would you say that this work found you or you found this work?
Um, I think it's more it found me in some ways because, I mean, obviously I started to seek answers when we had our health problems and we did go to the standard places medically and alternative. But when people started walking into my life, and I remember this one codependency book that came out, and I started reading it. That's when codependency was new. I mean, this is back in 1980s, and and it was just like, what? And this guy walked into my life, and then this other man that I mentioned, Max, he was just there, and all of a sudden I went, whoa! And so I think in some ways, when it came, and then I remember the first class I took on emotional processing, and I went, wait, I already, it's like I already knew how to do the whole procedure. It's like it was a knowing, and I was coming home basically.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you would say that led you to make these connections, integrating body movements, the brain, neuroscience, nutrition,
Right.
sensory integration, focused emotional processing, this motivational heart mind empowerment, all that you've learned on this journey from all these synchronicities. It's just amazing.
Well, it's fun. I mean, you brought up movements again, and thank you, because I have a whole workshops and based on that, because that's a part of it, and the sensory is a part of it, and the mind's a part of it. So actually, I don't think we ever need to stop learning. I mean, why stop? Why not keep expanding and growing ourselves?
Sure,
So,
sure. And it wasn't mentioned in your intro, but we chatted a little bit before, and you said that you did have a little bit of experience in your journey with Reiki,
I
even
did.
though you may not be using it to the fullest extent now, but it was a part of your journey, correct?
It was. Um, I remember one of my clients said that it was appropriate for me to at least have level one. So I went through level one after I had started the work. And then I went to a retreat, and someone else said to me, you need to do level two and three because of the type of work you're doing. I said, okay. Like you said, it kind of shows up. And but every day that I work with people, I mean, it is similar to the Reiki field. The way I experience Reiki is you're connecting to dimensions of people's fields and understandings. And sometimes I get visuals, sometimes I have body sensations, sometimes I have understandings of the mind that Reiki practitioners do. They go into a realm. I do craniosacral. I didn't mention that, and that's a similar field to Reiki, but different. I mean, obviously, but you're getting a vibration of resonance, looking at the dissonance and bringing them back home. So,
Right, right. It's all energy work, right? It gets that
yeah,
heart, the mind, the body, the soul. It helps with imbalances, right, in the body.
correct.
So that's our goal, getting things in balance. So we're
which is,
getting kind of, yeah, the same end goal here.
yeah, we are.
Wonderful, wonderful. So in your work, you've been doing this now for what, 3 decades? What is a common misperception about your work?
Well, obviously, the most common misperception is people can't believe that you can touch the body or, be near the body. I know a lot of Reiki don't touch, so I do both. I do acupuncture meridians, and then I do chakras, and off body. I do both. A lot of people can't believe it, so I always do a little demo on new individuals that show the possibility of having an electrical energy pass through people, okay, and help them understand that it exists. So I help take away that visual part of our brain that likes to doubt. If they can't see it, they don't believe it. So that's one thing that happens. They have to see it to believe it for some people. And the irony of this is sometimes if we don't have enough belief, we won't see it. Um, the other one, the blockages would be misconceptions, is that our mind is so powerful, and even more important, that our body has so much memory that can negate all the work someone does in cognitive therapy. I have many therapists, social workers, psychologists, and others that I've known over the years. Some are still clients, and they come to me because they want to blend the body and the mind. So a lot of people say, well, yeah, the mind can do it, and they forget about the body. And some people say the body can do it, forget about the mind. It's actually all of them.
Yeah, it's getting that biofeedback in the body. I love it.
Correct.
So, what is something you wish your younger self knew about your current profession?
I think when I was going through some of the experiences I had, because of I had some trauma that I didn't mention, and a lot of people go into this kind of work because of trauma, and that there's hope. Because for a while there, I went into a hopeless, and then I went into a denial, and I pretended that all of that didn't exist. So I think a hope, way back when. Also, maybe just a little awareness. But when I say that, though, in some ways, I'm glad I didn't have as much information now then as I do now, because that shaped me, that molded me, that obstacle times a thousand was really important for my resiliency, my determination, my courage, my depth of desire. What happened to my experience may not have happened the same if I had all the answers, right?
Right,
So in some ways, it's best that I didn't know that much.
right, right. If you think about it, if someone handed you a preview of the chapter of your life, and as you're reading it, would you feel at that moment you had the courage to answer that call? Right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
maybe
Yeah.
kind of blindly walking through it, they're like, oh, here I am, instead of knowing beforehand.
Well, the ahas are so valuable. I working with people and having them crystallize from within themselves, and having that haha is worth more than, okay, this is exactly what it'll be. And if we go too much in the exactness, we go too much from the left brain, and we don't allow that right brain emotional experience to happen, and they don't value it as much. So, and by the way, when Denise and I worked on the Mindbody Dictionary, if she would have told me that it's going to be 733 pages,
Ooh,
I probably would have went, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I can make a book 733 pages. But it was just organic, and I just kept adding and kept adding, and like, oh wow, okay. So it's so valuable to just experiment actually with life, right?
right, right. Because you probably never would have thought 3 decades ago you would be doing this today, right?
No, no, no.
Amazing,
No,
amazing.
talking to a great person like Tracy.
Thank you. You're not so bad yourself. So, all right, our next question is, what has working as an emotional coach for 3 decades to support individuals to power their inner storyline teach you? What did it teach you?
Um, well, actually, it's taught me a lot, because That's when I do my writings. It's actually the people that teach me. So my understandings of one help me on the next person. And so they are my teachers. And actually, everyone's my teachers. A mantra I started to do before this work, because when I was really into it, doing mastermind work and really kind of just not kind of, I was way into it. I understood that, wow, I can learn from every part of my life. So that's one of the things that taught me that storylines are a way of having a perception that has a unique view that really can teach each of us something new. And so when someone has an enemy, let's say, they may not call them an enemy, but they get all upset. That other person is a teacher. They can teach you so much rather than be in complaint or whining about it. You can actually embrace the moment and say, well, what is valuable here? Why, what's happening in this moment with that other person that's challenging me?
Mhm. Yeah, that's interesting that you said that. There was a season in my life where someone was really